Good morning, truck guys and gals. Time for an update on the Gladiator. Not there hasn't been a whole lot to report because of all the little stuff I'm doing. It's really not all that interesting. But I'll show you what we got going on and what the plan is for today. The plan for today is to put in all of the transmission harnessing, the controller, the VIM module, the bulkhead on the firewall, the hooks to the harnesses underneath. We're going to get that. That's the goal. It might be a stretch goal to get that done today. And what's interesting about where I've chosen to put this, here's this blank space to the left of the steering wheel, which is approximately where the controller would have gone in the LMTV. And I elected not to put it there before because the harnessing wasn't long enough, and I didn't want to hack up a 30 conductor harness. I mean, I can do it, but I'll have to show you something that I learned, and that is, so this is the used to be the front of the LMTV, and so the transmission harness came from would have been the passenger side up over the transmission along the frame rail. Then you'd have a little stub that go up here and catch the throttle position sensor along the frame rail and up into the cab. And so what I had done is just disconnected it from that end, was routing it this way, underneath and coming through the firewall opening there, and it wasn't long enough. And so I had considered mounting it here. I had it temporarily mounted underneath the dashboard in the middle there. And as I was going through the documentation, the pictures, all the pictures I took of taking this apart, it occurred to me that since the transmission interface connector is on what was the passenger side, see if we can see where it was here. I just have to go underneath and see it. So the connector from the transmission was on the passenger side, but because I've done the cab swap, it's now on the driver's side. And so now it's plenty long enough to go under here and pop up to here. Plug into here, the VIM can go over there where it was. And yeah, so that's the plan for today. And so I don't have to cut up the Allison harness. Just the opposite. I actually have to coil it up a little bit because it's actually too long. So yeah, that was an epiphany I had. It's going to save me a lot of trouble and will allow me to put the controller where it goes, where it's supposed to go. So what else we got going on? Yeah, so the harness from the transmission bulkhead connector will go around in here somewhere. Doesn't matter a whole lot. Maybe there's somewhere where there's an existing hole that I'll just make a little bigger. And then we've got some bus bars set up here. You may recognize this out of the Cuckview Blazer. And I think in the Cuckview Blazer There's a 24 volt bus and a ground bus, but since I'm using the frame rail as the ground bus, I repurposed the ground bus here as a 12 volt side. And there's a lot going on there as well. Remember, the LNTV has a dual voltage alternator, 1224, and then so the plan is, since I have everything torn apart, go to a standard cat alternator, J-frame alternator, that's just straight 24, and then put a 12 volt converter in here. I have that around here somewhere, and dump it into that bus. Because if you add up, if you were to activate all the 12 volt loads simultaneously, it might be like 25 amps. So if you got a converter, a DC converter will handle that easy. And let's see what else is going on here. Is I had planned on mounting this guy. Let me get up here. Plan on mounting the fuse panel here under the seat and running these harnesses over. But you know, a close inspection of the fuse panel, you can see it's put together like Legos. And so, as mentioned by some of the content providers on Steel Soldiers, these Tinker Toys can be taken apart, reassembled differently. So a bunch of these go away. You know, there's things like the electric winch controls to the controls to the hydraulic winch, which are the controls are electrical. There's the I call that light, convoy light. Don't need that. I don't need the gas detection circuit, and so a bunch of this stuff goes away. And what I want to do is make it easier to troubleshoot on the trail. If something goes wrong, I don't want to have to be poking around and pulling on all these wires to diagnose it. For instance, this transmission harness, it will have its own little panel of the fuses and circuit breakers associated with it, power associated with it, the lighting circuits, they'll have their own. And you know, I'm thinking of, you know, emergency troubleshooting on the trail. If something, for instance, if something with the lighting circuit goes out, I don't want to be poking around in here and maybe disturb the circuitry of something else important. So this is going to get taken apart and reassembled. So where I thought I was going to put the transmission controller at one time, what'll go here is the two gauges that show the pressure in the front and rear tanks. And then here I'll put these controls, the park controls. You know, they can go just about anywhere, and I can still easily reach those. Turns out the light switch from the LMTV precisely fits the opening in the 715. Even though that eventually would get changed out. I believe it was Ron Marr, one of the contributors, as a circuitry where you can replace this with just a single switch that turns everything either on or off. It doesn't have all of these different convolutions of blackout lights and park lights and service lights, and it's easy to accidentally leave this on and run your batteries down. But for now, it fits in there. Be fine. What else we got going on? Well, that's enough to keep me busy for now. So, talk with you next time. Bye.